The month of February, all about love, so here we go. Our first storyteller is Christine Martin. Christine is the director of Leap of Faith Dance Studio here at the State Left Center of the Arts. She is the choreographer for most of the productions here at Stage Left and is active in many of the shows and the productions. You can see her singing and dancing as Prudy Cup in the upcoming production of Pump Boys and Dinettes. That starts this coming weekend and runs the next weekend too. I asked all of our storytellers to give us a fun fact that people may not know about you. Christine has had over 30 jobs in her life, from swim instructor to portrait photographer to secretary at a pest control business. She does say that she gave up the pest control job because the work was just starting to bug her. But seriously, she finds the most interesting part of the storytelling process is how the stories change from beginning to end. Christine's story is Sigma Nu. Let's please welcome Christine Martin.
Across the room, talking and laughing with his friends, and an immediate wow goes through my brain. He has got a gorgeous smile, and I'm a sucker for a great smile. He's also incredibly handsome, and oh, he's wearing a Sigma Nu sweatshirt. Out of my league, I immediately think. Sigma Nus have a reputation on campus for being very rich and very stuck up, and I can't imagine why one who looks like that would be interested in a music ed major who is, well, me. But the next thing I know, he's standing across from me, looking into my eyes. I look up at him and notice that he has gorgeous blue eyes. I hadn't seen that before. Oh, and he smells really good. So out of my league. He takes a deep breath and takes my hands in his. He looks deep into my eyes and says, "I love you." I am 19 years old, and I have recently broken up with my longtime boyfriend and my parents' hopes for my future. He wanted me to marry him, and they wanted me to be a pharmacist. I have suddenly realized that I don't want either of those things, but not having the support of the people closest to me has thrown me off balance. In the past, music and creativity and performing have all helped me to find myself, so I've come back to one of my first loves, theater. And now I'm at this audition, and this gorgeous boy has just professed his love to me, and wow! But over the next few days, waiting for the cast list to go up, I'm thinking about more than just whether or not I'll get a part. Finally, the list does go up, and sure enough, the dreamboat Sigma Nu gets the male lead, and I get to be the stage manager. I spend the next several weeks managing details, like whether or not the actors have memorized their lines. Turns out that Sigma Nu, whose name is Brian, is a slacker who waits until the last minute to memorize his lines. Figures. He's probably just getting by on those good looks and charm, good sense of humor, and nice manners, and those eyes and that smile. Anyway, a few months later, I decide that I'm ready to start dating again. Now, it's 1995, and there is no online dating or social media, and the dating pool is as shallow as it is today, or so I'm told, especially on our small campus. So when my roommate says, "What about Brian Martin?" I say, "What about Brian Martin?" Well, little cupids fly around my head. After a few weeks of our friends colluding and me showing up wherever he is looking extra cute, he finally asks me out. I'm so excited that after I call every relative and can't get an answer on their landlines, I call my 84-year-old great-grandma to tell her about it. A few months into our relationship, we have our first argument. I realize that I love his passion, even when he's driving me right up a wall. Late one night, he and his best friend serenade a girl in our dorm, and I realize that he's a romantic, and what a great friend. Then I find out that they were singing to me and they were at the wrong window. I realize that sometimes he leads with his heart, and I love that too. I visit, the day before his senior project is due, I find out that he still has 90% of it left to complete. In typical Brian fashion, he finishes it in a lawn chair in his front yard, wearing a stupid straw hat and with no stress at all. I realize I love his drive and his mind, even if I think he works half as hard as anyone else and still gets better grades. I visit him at work one day, and I spot a job posting for a dance teacher. Now, that would be a dream job, but I'm certain I don't have the experience they're looking for. But Brian says, what do you have to lose by trying? So, because he believes in me, I take a tremendous leap of faith and end up getting the job, which changes the entire trajectory of my life. At our wedding reception, the lights go out during a huge storm. Brian just laughs with his groomsmen while I pace and worry. After half an hour, he realizes we're not in the dark for aesthetic reasons, and I want to strangle him. But I realize I also love how in the moment he is, and weirdly, how much he likes tornadoes. A few years later, we have our first miscarriage. A few more years and several fertility treatments later, we have our second. I don't know if it's just the loss, or the moment that we find out it was a baby boy, or maybe just all of it together, but something in me breaks. Just something little, like a pinhole in a water pipe where it leaks just a little bit over such a long time that you don't notice it until you're drowning. Maybe it was there even before then, it's hard to say, but you throw in some depression, migraines, chronic illness, ADHD, some past trauma, perfectionism. Let me just say this. I am the best at putting all of my stuff into pretty little boxes and shoving it into a corner of my brain where I never have to look at it. As you may know, that takes a toll on a person, on a marriage, on a spouse. But 30 years after that audition, we're still together. It seems like we've gone through all the things, but we're still married. We don't have kids. We don't have a house of our own or lots of money. We are not successful in any of the ways that the world says you should be. And admittedly, I am kind of a messy person with a lot of stuff I'm still working on. But it turns out that the man who didn't notice the lights were out and loves tornadoes is really great to have around when life seems too stormy and dark. The guy that believed in himself enough to wait until the last minute to memorize his lines and do his project also believes in me. The husband who shared my grief for all these years is also the guy who can make me laugh until I can't breathe. The shoulders that filled out that Sigma Nu sweatshirt so nicely all those years ago are strong when I don't think I can be. And the blue-eyed hottie who told me I love you loves me more today than I ever thought I could be loved. Thank you.
Now, I'm going to tell you something you're not going to believe. That was the first time Christine ever told a story for the SPARK Storytellers. You could not tell that from her. Let's give her a nice round of applause. Beautiful story. I've had a little fun with her, too, because she has always run the sound back here, and I'm sure she has sat back there and said, I can do that. And you can, so we're very happy to have you.